Hi, I'm Jeff. This is Tropical Plants at 53 degrees north. Now, I've got the grow lights on today. I've put them on for about 5 hours because, as usual, it's raining. And you might not recognise me today because I am post-lockdown, haircut all done and dusted. So my head feels much lighter today. I can put the comb away for a few weeks. And what I want to talk to you today about is Kohleria. Now, Kohleria are Gesneriads, and we'll get into that detail in a little while. And if you're into Stretocarpus, then I think you'll like Kohleria. So let's jump in. And we are in. Okay, so you're looking at some Stretocarpus there and various other plants. Some orchids and a bougainvillea and one or two other things. So it's a Stretocarpus we're interested in today because we're going to talk about Kohleria and its care needs. Now this is a new one for me, a new genus for me. So let's just kind of start at the top and we'll do a top-down view of it before we come to the Kohleria. So Gesneriaceae family is a large family of about 3,500 species of plants, and there are 150 roughly genera of Gesneriads. So if you think of Orchidaceae, and we talk about them as orchids, don't we? Well, Gesneriaceae, the family, we talk about them as Gesneriads. So Stretocarpus and Kohleria are two of the genera that are under the family of Gesneriaceae. So all these various genera have certain things in common. They're certainly all gorgeous. That's one thing that they have in common. You tend to find that if you look at the flowers, even though there is quite a bit of variation, but they're all like tubular sorts of flowers. I'm sure somebody will come up with one that isn't, but I looked at various sources and most of them appear to be tubular. There were some kind of fluffy ones and some that were elongated, but on the whole they were all tubular. And as some of you might know, I've been growing streps for a number of years now, and I love the streps, and I'll just kind of go around and show you some of the different varieties that I've got in flower here in bloom today. And I've got a number of new varieties as well that will be coming out soon with a bit of luck, although they do seem to be quite slow at taking off at the moment. But yeah, so they're the streps that I have at the moment, and two begonias as well, but they're not in the Gesneriaceae family. These ones down here, these are the new ones. These are the DS varieties. I've got some Harlequin varieties as well from Dibley's, but these are Dimitris varieties from the Ukraine. And I'm just waiting for that DS Kalahari to come into bloom, so at least I'll have some insight into what they look like. I mean, I did see them in the pictures when I bought them originally. So, okay, so we know that it's a big family, Gesneriaceae family, and there are some people who, just like there are orchid enthusiasts, there are plenty of people who are Gesneriad enthusiasts and they collect Gesneriads. So these are tropical and subtropical plants, so they do fit in nicely into my channel, with tropical plants being the main plant that I grow. In fact, I don't grow anything. If it survives frost, then I'm not interested in it. So the Stretocarpus genus, if you've been following my channel, you'll know all about. So I've been getting into quite recently the Kohleria genus, and what I did, well, in fact there's a video on it as well, when they first came. They looked like little caterpillars. They were sections of rhizome that were sent to me. So I have two, and having done a little bit of research today, I'm quite sure I'm going to get some more of these. So we'll start off with this one up here. Now it's not in bloom unfortunately, but the other one is, so I'll save the best till last. It is going to bloom. I can see the buds coming there. So this one is Kohleria, I think it's Little Gem. I'm trying to balance this in one hand here, hope I don't destroy it. That's just, I would have put the label the wrong way, wouldn't I? Brazil Gem. Brazil Gem. So this is Kohleria Brazil Gem. I don't know if you can see there, but it does have like velvety leaves, and that does tend to be one of the characteristics of a Kohleria plant. So just as a foliage plant, it's really nice, but that's just one of the positives with this plant. Nice red underneath and nice patterning on the leaves. So when that does flower, I think it's kind of like an orangey flower. I'll stick a photo on screen so you can have a look. It's like a reddy orangey flower. So that's one. And just while we're looking at that, I'll just tell you a little bit more about them. So Kohleria are tropical herbs or subshrubs. I take subshrubs to mean smaller shrubs, and they all have velvety stems and foliage, or most of them do. They're also rhizomatous, which means they have a period of dormancy. Now, when I think of dormancy, I think of all the leaves dropping off and kind of disappearing from above soil level for a few months. Well, that's not what they do. They just go into like a semi-dormancy, really, like a cooler period where they don't have as much water, they're not growing, and you just basically give them enough water to keep them from totally wilting. So they are made basically from Central and South America, and I'll show you up on the screen some of the hybrid photos of Kohleria. Actually, if I've not already, I was intending on showing you some of the Gesneriad photos. So not just the Streps and the Kohleria, I'll show you some of the other Gesneriads as well. And then I'll show you some of the hybrid photos. There's a helicopter going overhead if you wonder what that noise is. So okay, let's talk about some of the culture. And as we talk about that, I'll show you this very, very pretty little Kohleria Sunshine. Now, what do you think of that? Isn't that nice? It's a really, really velvety, soft to the touch plant. Even the blooms are soft to the touch. There's these gorgeous little hairs covering them. And you can see, if you've seen Stretocarpus, and you can see on a Stretocarpus the kind of tubular blooms. Well, Kohleria are very similar, and they all tend to have some kind of spotting on them as well. I'll just see if I can lift one up for you. You can have a look there. A really pretty thing. I'm more than impressed with them, and I can see I will definitely enjoy growing these. They will, I mean, this one is only a small plant because obviously this was taken from like a rhizome cutting. It will go to about 30-40 centimeters high, so I will need to pot this on as time goes on. So let's talk about some of its care needs and some of the culture of Kohleria. So most of them are suited to house conditions. So if you've got daytime temperatures of 18 to 23 degrees Celsius, then you'll be okay. I'm keeping it, or I was keeping it, in the warmer side of the greenhouse, which is over there, and I was keeping it at a minimum of 18 degrees all through winter. I've brought them over into the cooler side now because there wasn't enough space over there, and I wanted to give them a little bit more light because I've shaded it over there because it gets quite hot. So they do like a nighttime drop in temperature. They're going to get that naturally anyway here. Watering, dead easy. Water it when the top of the soil is dry, the medium is dry. They like to be kept moist, not soggy. This is very, very similar to Stretocarpus. So if you've grown Stretocarpus, you'll find a lot of the care needs are exactly the same. Media too. They like to be grown in peat moss and perlite, which is what Stretocarpus grow in. Which gives you an idea that they don't really like nutrient-rich soils. They prefer something like a peat moss, which is devoid of nutrients. They would like to be fed, but it's only like a very dilute feed. They will prefer to be fed on a weekly basis, but they like a flush, just like orchids, every month. So the recommendation is like a tenth to a quarter strength maximum feed. So we're not talking about a full-on high feed on a weekly basis. We're talking about little and often. Obviously through the growing season, when it gets to the dormant season, then you're not going to feed them then. Light as ever, bright light, not full sun. So some kind of netting or shading just to hide the glare of that sun if they're behind glass. Humidity, yeah, just like Streps, they like to be kept fairly humid, above about 50 degrees Celsius. You repot when they get too big. So orchid people who are used to teasing out roots, you don't touch those roots. You take it out of its pot, you leave the root ball as it is, and you simply pot up to a bigger pot. And as we said, they're like a loose porous media with good drainage, so something like a peat moss with perlite. You may be able to try a peat alternative. That might work just the same. It's whether you're willing to risk it, really. So yeah, just a quick one really on Kohleria. I hope you like that, and what I'll hopefully do when the next one comes up, I will do another one on this one just to give an update on the blooms on that one, so you can see what that looks like. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get on to Dibley's, which seem to be one of the only sources in the UK of Kohleria rhizomes, and I'm going to order myself some of the different varieties, and I'm also going to have a look at the other genera in Gesneriads and see if there's anything there that catches my fancy, and there were actually quite a number. So I think if you grow streps and the conditions are very, very similar, well, why not grow a few Gesneriads? I'm hoping that there are some Gesneriad fans in my subscribers that can give me a few tips on Gesneriads that might be different to Stretocarpus, or some really good hybrids to buy, or some other genera of the Gesneriaceae family, and we'll keep the blooms coming. So I hope you enjoyed that fairly short video, and I've introduced you to the world of Gesneriads, and for now I'll see you on the next one. Bye.